If I see Homelander and Huey in a room, I should feel very nervous for Huey. But for some reason, I really don't. So The Boys Season 4 is at this point is about halfway done. I just want to do a quick recap of what I liked so far, what I didn't like, and my concerns with the season going forward. I do feel like this is the rockiest season of The Boys. Just want to make this video to kind of make a point about what I like and what I didn't like. So starting off with what works, right? The season is hilarious. If they don't shy away from the comedy at all this season, I love the meta jokes they have, like Sister Sage being called Sister just because she's black. She just can't be called Sage. I love that they actually point that out too. They always had this racial commentary and political commentary in The Boys, so I'm kind of shocked that fans were really outraged this season about some of the political jokes that they have here, just because it's really in your face. I think it's maybe in your face a little more this season, but always was there kind of subliminally. But I think it's even that subliminal, so I don't know what the big fuss, what all the fuss was. Her pairing with the Deep was really funny. Having the smartest person paired with the dumbest person is just, you know, ironic. And then she literally has to turn her brain off just to be with him. It's just hilarious. And all the jokes kind of have a purpose, like with Homelander telling the Deep to blow A-Train. That whole joke was just meant to show how the power dynamic that he has Orioles to, and how those two would like take it. You know, you have A-Train, who's definitely a wuss, but at least he's more rebellious in that nature, and was pretty silent. Yeah, he didn't want to rebel, right? But you know, he's about to be turned over, or they're making this arc where A-Train's about to really turn to the Boys, and I don't think it will really end up with him being in the Boys, but we probably end up him dying, but he will go out doing something pretty important, as we're already kind of seeing right now. And you see with the Deep how with his dynamic is he's such a scared wuss, and he has no real sense of direction, so he's easily controlled out of fear, and he wouldn't do anything. Now let's talk Sister Sage, because her whole concept of a character is brilliant. Now you take a black woman who's the smartest lady in the world, yet no one takes her seriously because she is a black lady, right? And that's another social commentary aspect of how black women is treated in the real life aspect. Because imagine she was a white male, she'd be the most popular hero there is. She'd be like the Kira of the Boys, you know, assuming she was evil, or the L, you know what I mean? And the fact that they made her such like a lackadaisical character when Homelander first meets her kind of shows the levels. Like, she's done with society because that's how they treat black women in general, and I think it's a brilliant commentary. Her blackness is a constant reminder that before all else, before all her brilliance, all her success, no matter what she is, she will always be tied to her blackness before her brilliance. And for anything she achieved, she always remembered as just being the black smart person, or just being black, really, the black girl. And that's why her name Sister Sage, not just Sage, is just a great idea. And just smart writing, really. And I do hope she has a nice payoff at the end of the season. I hope she comes back. She's one of my favorite of the new additions from the Stormfronts and Firecracker. I do like Sister Sage probably the most, and I hope she does have a really strong endgame motive payoff at the end, because all this, like, we don't really understand her true motives yet. They aren't really clear, and I do like that. I'm kind of on my toes about what does she really want this season, because I don't think she's someone that really wants that success or prestige. Maybe she does, I'm not too sure. You guys let me know what you think about that. But it would be disappointing if it's kind of lame, and I think that would be a really big letdown this season. Like, a smart character is only as good as the writer, only as smart as the writer writing them, right? So I think it's a testament to the writing team of how smart and how well we receive her smartness. And now on the opposite end of Sister Sage, you have a black dominant woman, right? Now let's talk the opposite end of that, which is Firecracker. And this season is a pretty good racial commentary. And Pestons, they always have racial commentary, but this season is a pretty good one. Because now when you have Firecracker, is like the literal juxtaposition of what Sister Sage is. Firecracker is a white lady who has the prestige online, has the popularity of just being a white mediocre hero, and she profits off of that, while Sister Sage can't profit off of her own blackness, because black is not in fashion, right? And the fact that Firecracker is so mediocre in what she does, she profits off of America, white right-wing fans. And even her name, Firecracker, is a symbol of American pride and American white nationalism. And it's interesting to note that because what makes her mediocre is that she profits off of really spilling bullshit, you know, rabbit holes, political theories, a bunch of nonsense to white fans who just kind of see her being sexualized, and she profits off of that likelihood. She even sexualizes herself for Homelander, who again, this pushes a mediocrity that she has, while Sister Sage has to work and earn Homelander's respect through her intelligence and quick thinking, and I think she does respect, and Homelander does respect that out of her, versus Firecracker, which she does not respect. But it still is a pretty interesting dynamic how they both are really opposites, and it shows how the white lady's success is off of being mediocre. And to Homelander, we all know how great Anthony Starr is. He's amazing as Homelander, and his own flashback episode, I believe that was episode 4, was great. Really get to see his triggers and his trauma. That just makes him a more fleshed out character. You know, I think his scene was really great. I think he might win an Emmy, but it will be tough. You know, you have House of Dragon, you have the new Bear season that just came out. So, and you know, all war shows hate superheroes. So we'll see if he ends up winning something for it. But again, he does a great performance, and he really is what brings the show to life, and you can see. And now let's talk about some things I don't like in this season, or more my concerns. Like, I don't flat out dislike them, but I don't think they work the best this season. Starting out with that is going to be Frenchie and Kimiko's kind of role this season. They have them doing these, like, you know, fighting the demons from their past, basically, ghosts from their past. And with Frenchie, the thing with Frenchie and Kimiko, I think that in past seasons, we kind of grouped them together. And that season 3 kind of was pushing their relationship forward more. And this season kind of has them diving into their characters individually and their traumas. And while starting out with Frenchie, I feel like it's a little like being a dead horse. We do know Frenchie's past is pretty bad, and what he has done is not pretty unforgivable. How much murders he has on his head, and how much people he has killed and wronged. And it just feels that we don't really know what to do with him at this point. This whole thing with Colin's a character that it just feels a little forgettable at moments. That he's just there just to be a payoff for Frenchie. And you know, it feels like a side quest he's doing, and it just, I don't know, it just feels a little really beaten down at this point. Like we know in Frenchie's past. Let's have his character move in a different direction. It kind of pushes him past this, or like, hey, I know what I did is wrong. What are we gonna do? Like his whole like plot point feels like it's like a season behind now. Like this is something we did last season. What you gonna do now? And I think next season maybe he might be in that point of, hey, I want to right my wrongs, not just, hey, arrest me because I feel bad for myself. Okay, let's talk Kimiko. Kimiko's character, I think in The Boys, she's basically Wolverine, right? But I actually gives a great performance all the time with her. But I feel like Kimiko this season, she just feels a little out of place at times, because you have her doing this backstory with her past, but we are with the lost children. But we've already seen that with her brother already from season 2, and it's just like, again, a little bit beaten down at this point. Her whole thing's about dealing with her emotions and stuff. And while it's not bad, I feel like sometimes she doesn't really. The writers don't know what to really piggyback with her with. Like, they gave her a plot with Huey, and that feels it just didn't feel necessary to me. And again, it just feels like she disconnected from the rest of the plot line, which kind of gets to the rest of my concerns with this season. So what I meant by that is, another big issue I think this season is that they don't have just too many characters and not enough to do. I think this season's kind of divided into several story beats. You have the main home, like, stop Homelander plot line that's going on, and then a bunch of like side quests. That's what I'm gonna call it. All just side quests. You have Frenchie doing his thing, Kimiko doing a similar thing. And then the thing with Huey's dad is, well, it's not bad at all. I just forgot Huey had a father, honestly. I felt like they just announced he was terminally ill to get him, to kind of write him out the story. And honestly, I think it's one of the better side quests that they have going on. But again, it just feels like there's too many actors going on. Like, well, not too many actors, but the cast is too big now. We've seen this in other shows too, like Stranger Things had this issue too, with Mike just doing fetch quest basically the whole season. And I think season 2 of The Boys had that, was kind of the Stormfront thing going on. But overall, I just feel like there's too many people and they don't really know what to do with everybody. Like, I like MM's plot line. Like, his character is pretty good. He's flipping A-Train. It makes sense. But, you know, I think the struggle is you can't have a cast of 12 people in one room and know what to do with all of them, basically. And that's starting to be a little apparent in the season. Another point I do want to make, which might be controversial, but sometimes I feel like this season feels like it's low stakes. And what I mean by that is, you can't tell me in half these scenes they can get out fine. Either the boys team can get out fine, or whatever issue they're in, the Supes can't just kill anything in their way, right? And I just feel like they're just written kind of lazily to get them out of certain situations. Like, even the time where Huey was in that pipe, and there was like the Ice Capades episode with Victoria Newman and Homelander, you can't tell me that Homelander cannot hear Huey. Or even if he did, how come he didn't just run in there and just kill him immediately? Like I think at this point they're giving the boys too much power over them, to the point where the boys are getting off scot-free, unscathed in these issues, and starting to take away from the nervousness, tension that we have. Like, we came off an episode where Homelander just murdered a bunch of scientists, and that was scary. But now, because of plot armor, I almost feel like Huey, Butcher, Annie, and them are getting off way too scot-free. And, like, if I see Homelander and Huey in a room, I should feel very nervous for Huey. But for some reason, I really don't, because I feel like he's going to get off pretty fine. Same with Victoria Newman. Like, her whole thing, like, she lost all her aura. She has no aura at this point in the show to me. I thought she was a very cool villain when they first introduced her, because she had a lot of mystery surrounding her. You have an AOC character that's kind of turned bad guy. I don't know what the real social commentary is about that, besides all politicians are bad. They're all in it with corporations like Disney and Vought. But with her, it feels that they just show her way too much this season. She's not even cool anymore. Like, she's getting outsmarted left and right by Huey, and then they have stuff on her so they can't kill her. They can't kill him. And they make her just feel incompetent and stupid. Like, she feels like 2 steps behind now. She doesn't feel as calculated as she was in the past seasons. She doesn't feel as cool and collected. Even in Gen V, seeing her, it was a very cool moment for us, because she felt like the big bad at the time. But now it just feels like she's just so inferior, especially when you pair her next to a villain like Homelander, which we know is basically the god of this universe. And she doesn't stand up well to that. Even to Stan Edgar to some point. Stan Edgar, of course played by Giancarlo Esposito, steals the show in the last episode I seen. But it just feels like she just lacks that villainous aura that she used to have. And we see it not because you can make her vulnerable by having her boyfriend or husband get hurt and she's emotional and caring for him, but she just lacks that collected, calculated ruthlessness that we once seen from her. And side note, in that episode with the barns and the animals, why couldn't she pop all the animals' heads? Yes, it was said, but it just sounds very stupid. And it was a very The Boys plot to keep, oh, we have flying sheep and the hens flying, killing animals to keep you trapped here. Because, and I don't know, and it just felt like they were too buddy with each other for people who were, who do want to kill each other as like the end game, basically. I like that Annie hit her. I think that was a cool moment, but still, more or less, it just feels that just feels a little weak. Okay, those are like the main things I want to talk about. So I'll do like a quick run through of some minor things and things I want to touch on in general. I feel like Huey's just too disconnected from the main story. This was a show that started with him, and it feels like at moments he just sent on random side quests by the writers to do something because they can't write with him being in the room too, with Butcher and everybody going on. And I'm fine with Butcher having a main presence in the story, but I just feel that at times it's a little dragging with him, and they need to have. I liked it when all the boys were together, and now we have said the team is just too big. I do think the Homelander and Ryan situation is pretty interesting. I like that Homelander's trying to be the best parent he thinks a parent would be to Ryan at this point, and he's finally starting to switch him over to the dark side. And this whole conflict with Butcher and Homelander is who can get to Ryan first and really be the change to stop Ryan from developing to whatever he turns into. He either turns into another Homelander kind of clone. It's sort of like an Invincible with Mark turning out to, is he going to be the next Omni-Man? So is Ryan going to be the next Homelander, which is I think it's a good point to make. But I don't know where what the season's going right now. I don't know if Butcher will be able to really change Ryan, win him back over to his side, because right now it seems like they're kind of making it to a point where Ryan will be so much in debt, like in the Homelander nest, that Butcher won't be able to break through to Ryan. So if that's the case, who's going to be the one to really stop Homelander now? And that question is the big question of the boys is, who's gonna stop Homelander, or will it just be the demise of Homelander and how he kind of took himself out? So anyway, that's just my thoughts on the season overall. Like I said, it's not something I hate or anything, but we'll see how